We've been learning about using verbs, and we've started by learning the regular verbs, and they end in AR, ER, and IR. And all you do is memorize the boxes for AR, ER, and IR and use the endings that correspond to the person who's in charge of the sentence. So for example, escuchar means to listen. If I say she, then I say ella escucha. So you're using the boxes to match up your subject and your verb endings. With regular verbs, regular present tense, that's all you do. You just match up the boxes, use the ending, and you're finished. That's all there is to it. So you learned o, as, a, amos, an, or for all the AR verbs, for example. And you're matching up your subjects with those endings. So that's all. You just do that, you're finished, and that's called a regular simple present tense verb. Well, what is simple present tense? Tense means the time that the verb happened. Did it happen yesterday? Will it happen tomorrow? What's the time of the verb? Well, simple present tense in English means regularly. It doesn't mean now. It means regularly. So you say, where do you live? Where do you work? What time do you wake up? These are present tense verbs, but they don't mean now. They mean regularly. So the regular tense, the simple present tense, is what happens regularly in English, but in Spanish it could also mean now. And that's a big difference between Spanish and English. The simple present tense could also mean now. In English, if I say, what do you do in the simple present, I don't mean right this minute. I mean, what do you do for a living, right? Regularly. But in Spanish, if I say, ¿qué haces?, I could mean, what are you doing right this minute? So simple present tense in English means regularly. Simple present tense in Spanish means regularly, but it could also mean right now. So we've got 5 categories of simple present tense. You've already learned the regular. Category 1 are the regular verbs where you just use the AR, ER, and IR boxes. And you've actually already learned category 2, which are irregular. You know 3 irregular verbs, ser, estar, and ir. And ir is the most famous example because it's so different from its infinitive. Ir, IR is the infinitive. It means to go. But when you actually use the verb, it doesn't sound like ir at all. It's voy, vas, va, vamos, van. So that makes that irregular, and you have to just memorize that box. There's no way you can figure it out or guess it. You simply memorize it if it's an irregular verb. Voy, vas, va, vamos, van, and the infinitive is ir. So that's category 1, regular. Category 2, irregular. There are 5 total categories. Category 3 is what we call a stem changing verb, and that would be something like poder. Poder means to be able to, right? But when I use it, I change that O to a UE. Yo puedo, tú puedes, él puede, nosotros podemos, ellos pueden. ¿Puedo ir al baño? Can I go to the bathroom? ¿Puedo ir? Puedo. So I started off with poder. It changes from O to UE. Another example that you've probably heard is, I bet you've heard quiero Taco Bell. Q-U-I-E-R-O. Quiero, quieres, quiere. But it's not IE in the infinitive. It's actually querer, Q-U-E-R-E-R. So what happened? The E changed to IE. Querer becomes yo quiero. Tú quieres, él quiere. See? So it changed in its stem. And that's category 3, called a stem changing verb. Category 4 are what we call strange first person. So they're normal, they just use the boxes, but for some reason number 1 is off. There's something strange happens to number 1. So a good example is salir. Salir means to leave. Number 1 is salgo, S-A-L-G-O. You get a G from heaven. We don't know where that G came from, but it's a strange first person, salgo. But after you finish number 1, it goes normal. You just go back to your boxes. So salgo, and then sales, sale, salimos, salen. The infinitive is salir. So it's strange in the first person, but then it's normal after that. Okay, and then the 5th category is what we call both. What does that mean, both? It means it's a strange first person, and it's also a stem changer. And right now you're studying the 2 famous verbs for that we always start with, and that's tener and venir. And tener means to have, and it has a strange first person, yo tengo. Where did the G come from? We don't know. G from heaven. And then it's a stem changer after that. Tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, tienen. But the infinitive is tener, T-E-N-E-R. So it's a strange first person and a stem changer. And the sister verb to that, which is venir, an IR verb, it operates the same way except for that it's IR. So you have vengo, vienes, viene, venimos, vienen. So you have to be aware that one's ER, one's IR. When you get to nosotros, use imos or amos depending on the infinitive. But so those are both strange first person and stem change. So you got 5 kinds of simple present tense verbs. Regular, just use the AR, ER, and IR box endings. Irregular, memorize the box. Voy, vas, va, vamos, van is from ir. Category 3 is a stem changing verb. Yo puedo, yo quiero. You had to change the stem in addition to doing the endings. Category 4 is strange first person. Yo salgo, where did the G come from? We don't know. And then the 5th category is both stem change and strange first person. And the 2 examples that you want to learn for that is tener and venir. Those are the 5 types of simple present tense verbs in Spanish.